Hey everyone, and welcome back to your fourth stimulus package and news update. My name is Josh. We have a lot of news to get into in today's video, but first, if you would like to receive 2 free stocks from Webull, valued all the way up to $2,300, make sure to claim them by clicking my link, which you will find in the description box below. Okay, so yesterday, Republican Glenn Youngkin pulled off what many would consider to be a huge upset in the governor's race in Virginia, with the most critical issues facing Virginians being the economy, COVID-19, education, climate change, and healthcare. Youngkin's approach was more successful. 1/4 of voters cited the debate over teaching critical race theory as the single most important factor to the vote for governor, and being that Youngkin was against teaching CRT in schools, that played in a pretty big factor.
We will award advanced diplomas. We will teach all history, the good and the bad. The good and the bad. America is the greatest country on the planet. We have an amazing history, but we also have some abhorrent dark chapters. We must teach it all because we can't know where we're going unless we know where we have come from. Let me also be clear. We won't teach our children to view everything through a lens of race. We know it's not right. We are all created equal. And to teach our children to divide one another into buckets of folks that are oppressed and others that are oppressors, it steals dreams. We will not be a commonwealth of dream stealers. We'll be a commonwealth of dream enablers. This is what we're going to do. We know it flies directly in the face of those immortal words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who implored us to be better than ourselves, to judge one another based on the content of our character and not the color of our skin. So friends, on day one, I will ban critical race theory and make sure our schools are teaching our kids everything they need to know. On day one, we're standing up for law enforcement because law enforcement stands up for us.
So one has to wonder here if this vote for governor in the state of Virginia, a state typically seen as a blue state, will give any indication whatsoever of how the midterm elections will go. With Democrats having complete control at the moment in Washington, having a majority in the House, Senate, and Joe Biden in the White House, will Republicans be able to take back any type of control? Okay, so in some other news, while the full text of the Build Back Better reconciliation plan hasn't yet been released, and it's Wednesday, Democrats hope to be able to get that released at some point later today. This is something that all Democrats, progressive ones as well as moderates, have said is a must. And yesterday, key members of the Blue Dog Coalition stated in the letter that they want at least 72 hours to review the legislation after the text is released. They said they wanted a score by the Congressional Budget Office and the Joint Committee on Taxation before voting on the measure. The letter, as you can see up on the screen, states, "Finally, consistent with House rules and considering the magnitude and complexity of the BBB Act, we ask that the final text of the bill be posted at least 72 hours before its consideration so that we, and more importantly, our constituents, have time to review the bill before any vote. While we understand the needs of the nation are great, we believe our job as legislators is to provide the due diligence required to properly serve our constituents. It is better to get this done right than to needlessly rush its consideration only for our constituents to discover the negative impacts of our unintended consequences." So this means that earliest, if we do see the text at some point today, they'll be able to hold a vote on Friday. Then, let's say the House does vote on Build Back Better on Friday and passes it through their chamber. Then they'll have a rule fight on their hands to pass this through the Senate, where they still don't have a firm answer from Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema. In fact, yesterday, when Manchin was asked about the timing of passing the Build Back Better plan, this is what he had to say.
Overhauling the entire tax code. That is tremendous, and there needs to be input. We need to know what the effect's going to be. I don't think anybody intends to harm our economy or create a hardship on people, but I believe everyone should be paying their fair share.
But you think it'll take quite a while?
I think there's times going to be needed, and we're not in a rush right now. The rush was trying to get everything before the president went overseas. I think he's doing a good job. I've been listening to what he's doing. I think the people are paying attention. I think You know, deforestation, they talked about some good things are coming out of that. So he's done a good job.
Hey, what do you say to folks who say that you supported deficit spending in the infrastructure bill? $250 billion are going to be added to the deficit. Now you're concerned about the deficit.
Well, the bottom line is I think that'll all work itself out too. But you look at basically, if you really look at what we're doing in the infrastructure bill, that bill basically is going to have 8 years of total employment for anybody that needs it. The economic impact of that is going to be tremendous. And we didn't put in their dynamic scoring on that one whatsoever. So if you wanted to use that more than would take care of the challenges that we have. But I think that is a bill that we can really jumpstart, and it has something for everything. And we did more for clean energy than ever before in any piece of legislation. And what we're working on now will even be further.
Are you saying that you would never support doing paid leave through reconciliation?
I don't think you can. The rules that we have in reconciliation prevents us to do it the way it should be done.
There was a proposal though that was included within the package already, and so Senator Gillibrand said that she's spoken to you specifically about.
I've been talking to people, and I've talked to
mandate or employer shift, like sharing and that policy there.
We haven't been able to do that from the standpoint of the parliamentarian. That's all I can tell you is the rules that we have does not allow us to do it the way it should be done, and it's something I support. So let's do it and do it right and get participation. Wouldn't it be nice to have a bipartisan bill of family leave that will sustain itself and not be overthrown or overruled or thrown out as soon as we know when the dynamics change here in politics? Anytime you can do something with bipartisanship, it can sustain, it can last, okay? It can meet the test of time. When we do things in reconciliation, major changes that we're doing in policy, they just flop back and forth, and we're seeing that happen, whether it be
Manchin says he believes it could take quite a while, and there's absolutely no rush to get this bill passed through. He also mentions that he was opposed to paid family leave due to the rules of reconciliation not allowing for it. Rather than him being opposed to the measure, it was more about the rules not allowing for it. Joe Manchin also said that he has chief concerns that will need to be addressed in order to secure his vote on the plan, which includes things such as climate change, taxes, Medicare, and immigration. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said he hopes to put the bill on the chamber floor during the week of November 15th.
Do you intend to wait until you have a CBO score to bring the Build Back Better Act to the floor?
You have to have a CBO score to go into let me go over the timing.
Sure.
So first, there is the scrub, the privilege scrub. You can't do that till the whole bill is ready in the House. They have to pass the whole bill. That takes about a week because it's a 2,000-page bill. While we already have some text of, I think, 7 committees, the vast majority of the legislation is in committees that haven't gotten it ready yet. So it takes about a week, and that's what we'll do next week, the upcoming week. During the recess week, we couldn't do anything anyway. But we hope the House to pass it soon and hope to begin debate on it on the 15th after the parliamentary scrub. And then, of course, there are the Byrd Rule contests as well.
And thankfully for Democrats, this is a timeline Manchin believes can be met. In a statement, Manchin said, "We have all next week. We're going to work into next week as they are working. So if everyone works real hard, I've said we can get this thing done before Thanksgiving. We're going to get something done." While key issues do still remain, such as immigration and the other ones I mentioned before, they hope to reach an agreement on those very soon. Of course, even if they do reach an agreement on immigration, the strict rules of reconciliation may end up tearing apart their proposal. As I mentioned in yesterday's video, the Senate parliamentarian has already rejected 2 proposals, so going off of precedent alone, whatever they agree on will more than likely get rejected as well. So, should be an interesting couple weeks ahead, and whether or not they end up reaching an agreement, well, we'll just have to wait and see. But on that note, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. Again, if you would like to receive a couple free stocks from Webull, make sure to quickly claim them by clicking my link in the description box below. To receive the first stock, you will need to fully open an account. Then, to receive the second free stock, which will be valued up to $2,000, you'll need to make a qualifying deposit of at least $5. And even if you aren't all that interested in investing or continuing to invest at this point in time, you can always sell the free stocks you receive and transfer that money, however much they're worth, right back to your bank account. So free stocks or free money is completely up to you. So once again, I hope everyone has a great and safe rest of their day. And if you did enjoy the content in today's video, you found it helpful in whatever way, I would greatly appreciate it if you go ahead and hit that like button. That give me a big thumbs up. That does help out with the YouTube algorithm. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.